welcome to LayBack with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back. Hello and welcome to LayBack with Betfair. What a huge weekend of sport and racing we've got coming up across Australia, and got 4 Group 1s this week. Preview headlined by the Moir Stakes at the Valley on Friday night. 3 in Sydney up there, Royal Randwick on Saturday. And then we'll also preview a nice race at Sandown on Sunday. My name's Nick Foote. Helping me to do this is the equine genius, Liam Clancy, the Baron of Betfair, Tom Haylock. Boys, welcome along.
Thanks, Footy. Pleasure to be back.
This is the first time we've worked together on this show?
I know, I reckon.
Second
time. I reckon you got me last time, so I'll be trying to fight back strongly this one.
Good to have you here, mate.
It's the first time this combination has come in, though, on LayBack, so I'm feeling good about this.
It's the A-team.
It is the A-team. Hey, we've got plenty of racing to talk about today, and before we get into that, we'll, of course, head to the flagship segment, which is the LayBin. And, Tommy, what do you got for us this week?
Just the AFL, just taking down small organisations. No, just their timing of releasing news, North Melbourne compensation. They got a couple of picks, but they just slid it under on Brownlow Day. When all the eyes were on the Brownlow, no one took any notice of it. The timing of their announcements are in the LayBin.
I'd argue that not anyone took any notice of it. It was filling my feed, my social media feed.
Well, imagine if it was on a Thursday, or next week after the grand final. They just do it timely. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Nothing to add. You can't say it.
I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me ever.
I was just going to say, I was like, every single time you set him up for a LayBin, he always seems to go straight at you with an AFL, and you're like, well, I can't say anything.
Right. It's the only time I get a sock in my mouth, really, isn't it?
We could talk about the Brownlow, but we'll let that go through to the curtain.
Please. The one positive about getting to the Brownlow on Monday night was I didn't have to stay at home and watch Tom on a live stream talk about the Brownlow. So
great show, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah,
just offer him a little plug.
Global and trending, I heard global and trending. What do you got for us, Clance?
Hey, I'm glad I came up this late because it's one of my pet bugbears every year, and that's weddings or bucks parties on big spring race days.
Yep.
Same can be said for AFL Grand Final this weekend. Mate told me yesterday that he's got a wedding on Grand Final day. I mean, we've now got the public holiday on the Friday. Like, if you're going to do it, choose the public holiday. And I've got a bucks on Cox Plate Day, my favourite day of the racing of the whole year.
It's at the Cox Plate, though, surely.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know.
That is disgusting.
I don't know about that.
My mate, who's a mad racing nuff, he's got a wedding on Caulfield Cup Day in Byron Bay. He can't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
You won't even be able to get Sky up there.
Oh, it'll be...
That's as
drinking
far
green
from
smoothies.
thoroughbred racing as you can get, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
He's absolutely filthy.
I've got a bit of a racing LayBin for us today, and it's Group 1's not in quaddies. Mm-hmm. So heading to Sydney on Saturday, we've got race number 6, the Group 1 Flight Stakes. Now, I know it's for the 3-year-old fillies, and it might not be an enormous field in terms of betting, but you've got to have your Group 1 and your quaddie legs, don't you, boys?
I think it's a great betting race too, so I would have loved it. I actually was keen to take the favourite on, and we'll get to that. But, yeah, I'd love to have a few in the quaddie in that leg, but early quaddie, maybe?
I think it sits right in that. Oh, maybe,
Might be the last.
maybe.
Either way, it's
I can't remember the last time I've had an early quaddie, just quietly.
As many times I've had odds and evens bets.
I'm glad we've squeezed that. I'm glad we've squeezed that benchmark 94 in at the end of the day.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's good,
with the quaddie legs. It's very good. Fellas, let's head to the Valley on Friday night, headlined by the Group 1 Moir Stakes. Wait for age. It's an exciting night at the Valley because we've got a couple of real smarties going around, don't we? Amelia's Jewel, who we'll talk about.
I thought you were going to say attending.
Yeah, well, that too. The Haylock foot combination, of course. But we've got some really nice types floating around at the Valley on Friday.
Talks about us.
I'm very excited. Tommy, it's the track looks outstanding. The weather in Melbourne's fantastic this week ahead of the grand final. I'm expecting good 4, perhaps even good 3, railed through the entire circuit. We're going to get something leaderish or quite fair?
Great question. Firm track, you want to be up and in, preferably. But last time we had the rail in this position, it was the day that Imperatriz beat Giga Kick, Stapati won up on speed. Most of the winners were up on speed, as you'd expect on a firm track. Tight turning track, but Imperatriz obviously came from last. So hoping it plays okay. What are your thoughts?
Pretty similar. I think with the tree, like generally it's like the horses that Amelia's Jewel. You see them getting going at the school, getting going nice and early, and plenty of opportunity coming into the race. The sprinting races are the ones where you want to be reasonably close enough so you can actually get past.
Cool. Well, let's start off in race number 5, the Group 2 Stud Stakes. 3-year-old set weights over the mile. Tijuana won the race last year, Forgot You in 2021 and Glenn Fiddick in 2020. Map-wise here, Deadly Press looks to go forward. Verdad, Limburg. Griff can likely be prominent as well. Are you keen to get involved? Start with you, Clance.
Not particularly keen to get involved in this race. I thought of the runners, I thought King of Fighters is one that went back last start. I didn't think it had to go as far back this time, so I would presume that Frosty will probably push forward from the wide gate and actually get a bit closer. Had absolutely no luck last start. I thought we'd get a price for this runner. We didn't. So I'm going to shoulder arms and let Tommy have a crack.
I'm pretty bullish here, taking on the lead up. 5 of these come through that 1400 metre Flemington race. We saw the horse that Clancy just mentioned, King of Fighters, went around at $60, $70, $80 on Betfair. It ran a good race. So surprise coming at a huge price. That was the one that was a huge price. Only 1.2 lengths separated quite a few across the line. I'm heading that race. Happy to be against Griff, awkward barrier, and I'm keen to bring different form lines and be with the likes of Fist of Fury. Ties in through Autumn Angel, 1500 metre race, better grounding for this. They went really fast in that race, set up a high benchmark. Autumn Angel, Soul Filly, she was okay. Thought Fist of Fury was too strong late. I want to have something on Fist of Fury. And the other one's Limburg. Oliver goes on, seems a big price. A maiden, but beat All Bar Gold Bullion last time, Gold Bullion, who since won again, has technical speed, map's okay, Oliver on as I mentioned. So Tommy 2 play, backing Fist of Fury and Limburg and laying Griff.
Huge price about Limburg, some sort of 35-41 on some of the corps at the moment on a Thursday. I'm going to have a bet too. I'm going to side with number 4, Mojave Desert, who I was with last start. Look, still a maiden. Things didn't go his way first up at Warwick Farm when he was blocked for runs. Once out, he did run the fastest last 200 of the meeting. He then went to 1400 at Flemington. That was in the Exford Plate. Introducing in short, a hot tempo was set up that day. They went some 9.1 lengths faster than the all benchmark to the 600. And a rock hard fit Griff was the beneficiary of that tempo. So he beat Mojave Desert 1.2 lengths. Third up here for Mojave Desert, out to the mile, drawn to get a great run in transit. I reckon just about ready to peak now. Can turn the tables on the favourite. He's also in for Sunday, Mojave Desert, but no jockey booking, so I presume he'll go here.
It was $8 into $5.50 that day, so great SP profile.
Yep, good call. Tommy?
You're against the favourite, which is good. So am I. Griff, like 1.2 lengths behind Mojave Desert. The first 5 across the line, I'm happy to be against him.
Yep.
I think he'll drift, surely.
Let's head to race 6, fellas, which is the Group 2 Stock Stakes, 4-year-olds and upwards. For the mares, Daisy's won it last year, so you assume in 2021, and the beautiful Mystic Journey here behind me being 2020, the Pride of Tasmania. Map-wise here, Deny Knowledge just looks the clear leader from 1. Pride of Jenny, Sione will box seat. Torregine, if they go here, will likely grab the 1-1. But look, fellas, it's all about Amelia's Jewel, isn't it? She's good, but she's short. How do we play her in this race?
I think she wins in the most simple way possible. If she's going to get beaten by the moderate lot that this field are, with maybe the slight exception on Pride of Jenny has those peaks, it'll be 1600 Valley if they can't get on. I've got her marked to $1.60, so currently $1.40. Can't take that price. I think she'll be winning. Hopefully, we see a bit of drift on Betfair late, and we can take the price there. But shouldering arms at this point and hoping for a drift.
Can't possibly be taking $1.35 better back marker at the Valley. Yes, we'll know by now that her track's playing, but she beat Life Lessons, a benchmark 78 winner last start, and was beaten in a 4th in a benchmark 84 the start prior. El Patroness, coming off a 2800 metre run, was lapped in that, and I don't think the form through the lead up is any good. She wasn't there to win really, Amelia's Jewel, because the way she did it was fantastic, and that's why she's a short price. I mean, I just can't take a back marker at this price. Around the Valley, Deny Knowledge has got to be in the mix, leading, can improve, third up, Pride of Jenny. So I'm laying Amelia's Jewel.
I just think she's a stupid price. And if she gets to $1.70, I'll back her. But $1.35, $1.40, I can't possibly have it.
So a little later back.
Potentially, yeah. So the play now on the Thursdays to lay her, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I certainly can't argue with any of that. And I'm actually going to have sort of a 1x4 type play, more from a play. I think there's just enormous place value here when you look at something like a horse like Deny Knowledge. Now, she's obviously not the best horse in the race. She brings that kamikaze style of racing almost, doesn't she, where she just goes hammer and tong up front. At the Valley, won first up here over 1,500. They went lickety-split. She went some 11.6 lengths faster than the all benchmark to the 600. Won well. Second up went 10 lengths faster than the all benchmark to the 600 and busted up late. So perhaps was in for a flat one after that first up run. Look, if there's any sign of the Valley playing leaderish in the early stages, then I think she just represents great value, sort of around $15, close to $3 to the place. You can just have something small to win, but I think she can certainly hold on and run a drum. So that's how I'm going to play the stock stakes. But it's all, the racing fan in me also hates me for that because I love to see the best horses win.
But see, that's the trade-off, right? Like this time of year, Spring Carnival comes around, you very rarely get these short price favourites. Whereas this weekend we've got Amelia's Jewel, you've got Imperatrice, you've got Just Fine up in Sydney.
Antino.
So sometimes, Antino. Yeah. So sometimes you look around that. There's the punting purist side of things, but there's also like what's the smart betting place here, right? There two different ways to look at it.
Well, let's head to race 7 now. You speak of Imperatrice. It's the Group 1 Moir Stakes. Weight for age, 1,000 metres. Coolangatta won the race last year. Wild Ruler in 2021 and Pippi in 2020. Now the map, speed is on as you'd expect. Rothfire from 1, Zoo Style from 3. Acromantula, Asfura to settle in behind that initial lot of speed. Uncommon James gets the first look at the Valley as well. Look, I've got Generation settling third last the fence here, so there has to be some sort of speed engaged. You'd think sets up beautifully, you'd think, for Imperatrice, all things playing fair, Tommy.
Hard to go past Imperatrice here. Beat most of these last start. Exceptional time. See Rothfire, Zoostyle, Acromantula come through that race. Hard to see them turning the tables, but where else do you look? You've got Asfura down the bottom, very talented horse, 1,000 metres, the query. Uncommon James, 1,000 metres, the query. Both draw a little bit awkwardly as well. So incredibly hard to go past Imperatrice. What do you do with now, obviously, Rothfire, but the Giga Kick form as well, come out and been injured or is injured? Yeah, it's an interesting race. I'm against Uncommon James, very much so. Imperatrice picks herself.
I want to know why you're against Uncommon James. It's just I had him as one marked that I really wanted to follow this spring. Obviously, Oakley Plate winner. Maybe does he like the bigger tracks? How's he going to get around the Valley? I'm finding that's going to be a real interesting point for me, how if he crabs around or if he really actually appreciates it.
Where does he get to from the barrier? Does he end up 5th potentially and settles behind the clump of on-speed runners drawn outside? And Damien Lane obviously likes to put his horses in the race. So I just have a query, 1,000 Valley. I think he's a better 1,200 metre horse, and that's my query. I just think they might be a bit sharp for him with bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, the other query I have on Uncommon James is that he usually improves second up. The first up, yes, he's won in the past because obviously he's a good horse. He was coming through the grades, but his rating suggests that he actually improves on the second one. Has trialled well, and it was a pretty decent trial for this, so probably not as fresh as he has been in previous preps. But I don't think you can really step up to this Group 1 company and not be fully ready to go, like Imperatrice will be. Marked $1.50, think she wins. Asfura and Uncommon James are the two that I'm going to be laying for top 2. I'm going to try and get them out of the top 2, and I think Rothfire, again, similar to last start, gets Barry 1 this time, so it sits closer. I think he's probably going to be my one field the top 2. The Inferno come back better by all reports, but I think his opportunity to win this race was 2 years ago when Wild Ruler pipped him on the post. And I was on the Inferno that night and I was absolutely filthy. But hopefully we'll have some better luck tomorrow night.
Yeah. So was I. All right.
I'm making Imperatrice a bet. Like what she did first up was just stupid good. There's been a bit, I reckon, contrary to the controversies sort of that has come out of the McEwen Stakes. Like there's this narrative that, and I know they went like track record, there's this narrative that they've gone absolutely hell for leather there, but it's actually not the case.
No, and it looked visually like they were flying, but you go through the data and it lies.
Well, you look at it, like Zoo Style went 5.1 lengths faster than the all benchmark to the 600. Imperatriz actually went even.
Yeah.
Herself.
That's
And
all
she-
benchmark. That's
yeah,
not
that's
class
all
benchmark
benchmark,
as
correct.
well.
And that's and it gives you a bigger data size going all benchmark, but she came home some 14.8 lengths faster than the all benchmark for the last 600. So I'm keen on her. I think staying at the 1,000 second up with a bit more speed on, she's going to appreciate that as well. So I think that'll actually play into her hands. So
32.8 final 600, 10.8 home.
yeah, it's silly.
I think she's the bet. The Inferno, that VRC Classic run when he got put on his head, it just ruined his campaign, and he's come back better. I like horses with the Queensland campaign. He's spelled up there. He's a horse that is hard to be confident with because he's a back marker and he needs firm tracks. How often are you going to win if you need firm tracks and you're a back marker and a sprinter? But he'll run better than his SP, I suggest.
We've got the Cliff Brown stable representative over here.
No.
He spent 20 minutes talking about a 67-1 shot. All right, we'll move
You'll be
on.
laughing when it runs second, don't worry.
I'm going to have that as some insurance. Yeah, it's a classic.
I'll be straight on the phone.
Oh,
if it
you
gets
will.
up.
You'll have smoke coming out of it.
You can wave to me in the mounting yard.
Yeah, you'll be mountain, all right. Race number 8 is the Group 3 Scarborough Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies over 1,200 metres. Queen of the Ball won it last year. Map-wise, Captain Teeb's form could be king here, fellas. Win of the race, she's all shenanigans. Looks the likely leader from 1. Ulanova, Chilled and Sicilian, they'll press forward. Osmar's drawn 2, can be handy. Skirt the Law is the favourite here and may just find the 1-1 and a great run in transit. Are we betting here, Clance?
I am, yes. It's a very different race, the Captain Teebs, obviously 1,200 metres at the Valley versus Flemington. So different up the straight. I didn't think that Skirt the Law actually handled the straight particularly well for a good horse. And the other one that I'm very keen on is the New Zealander Ulanova. Was really well backed first start in Australia. What was 750 into 420 against Charmstone. Obviously fantastic form lines there. Failed, went back to the rail and then just dropped off. Has gone back to the jump outs trial since and has looked really well forward. So at a $23 mark, I'm really happy to just trust that things didn't go right that first start and give another shot. Got marked around the $8 mark and Skirt the Law, keen to have a bet there as well. Bossy Nick, first up for the McAvoys, trialled nicely, decent price. I think she's in the race also. But yeah, the two that I'm keen to follow and keen to bet on Friday night, Skirt the Law and Ulanova.
Yeah, keen to, just talking about the Ulanova and New Zealand form, keen to just keep an eye on Zurion as well, who's got form around Ulanova in New Zealand and has beaten.
Scary horse.
Yeah, beaten Ulanova. So first up may not be fully screwed down and raring to go, but that big watch on Zurion for me. Mark Zara on board. Tommy, are you staying out of this one?
It's too messy. Zurion is so scary that I don't really want to bet in the race. You make a good point about Ulanova. Cigar Flick's a fascinating horse, and even Lazago went around a big price against Cigar Flick. I had a big opinion of Lazago at times and been disappointed in this campaign, but if I'm betting, it's probably Cigar Flick. I'll just be looking for you at 9:45 on Friday night at the Valley, mate. I want to see what condition you're in.
Following the hot hand, hopefully.
From the mounting yard.
Yeah. I'm having a 2-bet play. I'm with you on Skirt the Law. Following up, I went close in the Quizette. The Captain Teebs up the straight, completely different product here. Like her back around the bend, third up, steps to 1,200 for the first time this prep. I think she maps perfectly and will be hard to beat. The other one at a price I'm just going to spec as well is number 9, Osmar. Have you seen this filly? Mm-hmm. She's enormous. Yeah. Just the 4 career starts, they've all been at 1,000 metres, and each time she steps out onto a racetrack, she improves. So she's won her last 2 starts, drawn 2, Jordan Childs on board, may show some tactical speed. I think if she can handle the Valley, she could be strong late, will appreciate the rising trip and is a good price. So going to play both those two for a win in the Scarborough Stakes, fellas.
Good luck.
Sandown Hillside Sunday. So we're going to fast forward 2 days before we come back 1 day, all right?
Okay.
So we'll stay in Victoria.
It's your running the show.
Yeah, I am.
It's your
That's-
show.
That's a good point.
It's going to be good for the YouTube. This.
Yeah.
It's not going to be so good for the potties.
The producer's going to have no idea what's going on.
None. Rail is +6 entire circuit, good for. We won't spend too much time on the track. Expect it to be relatively fair. Sandown Hillside, great racing track, great punting track. Race number 6 is the Group 3 Sandown Stakes. It's quality 1,500 metres. Map-wise, boys, Torregine, if they go that way.
Yeah, they're coming here.
They're coming there?
They've scratched from the valley.
Bang. That's why he's the equine genius. Here to Shock and Golden Path, all drawn underneath Antino. So it'll be interesting to see where he gets without having an abundance of speed. But Clance Antino's he's the boom horse here. Does he make amends on the last start tragedy from Flemington?
Those that were involved in the car crash last start will be having PTSD, but he'll be winning here. Here to Shock's the only one that slightly scares me. Has those ratings that can challenge him, but I don't think. There's just such a beautiful straight at Sandown. He's going to have so much opportunity. Shin will get him in the right spot. And the ceiling is just so high for this horse, and I can't wait to see him prove it on Sunday to hopefully pay out all of the sick mug multis that I'll be having across the weekend.
Yeah. Now, we always talk, he's short at the moment. He's about $1.75 on the corpse. We always talk price is king, exchange. What are we doing? What punters out there listening to LayBack now, what are we doing with Antino? Is $1.75 a good price, or are we waiting closer to jump?
I'll be waiting closer to jump. I'm hoping to get $1.90 even money. But having said that, if he holds his price and he's $1.75 at the jump, I'll have no problem stepping in at that price.
He's almost a horse that you back him at $1.75 and you back him at $2.10.
Yeah.
Like either way.
Back to drift.
Only 2 horses can win. It's Antino and Hit a Shock. They're the only 2. I think $1.75 is the right price for Antino. So I'm staying out. It's going to be a fascinating betting affair. I look forward to seeing what the market does late. But Antino on top from Hit a Shock.
Yep, I'm backing Antino too for all the reasons we've mentioned, and I don't think we'll need to prove the point any further. I think he's a star. Let's get into our next segment now, which is What Caught My Eye. And Tommy's our international correspondent.
Don't know if you heard about my holidays.
This isn't quite a mouthy coast though, Tommy. What's caught your eye this week, mate?
It's not, and I'll just put this vision up without comment. I'm just going to leave it here. The second horse in the white, I think it's called Real Flash. Just have a look at it. You can check it out.
It's going to be one of those podcast history where nothing gets said for 20 seconds as you watch the race.
Well, if you're listening on Spotify, I can tell you it wasn't a good watch if you back the second horse there, said without further comment.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Singaporean stewards are like. Can they get me?
I think there might be a hamstring cramp there at the 100
There's
on the
something.
hoop. You know when the hammies cramp and you've really just got to give that leg extension?
It's the full body cramp, I think. You just stop completely.
Seriously, electrolytes, the lack of electrolytes in Singapore, perhaps, Tommy. No words. No words
I'm not saying anything.
Very good.
You're sick if you backed it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. Let's move on from that and hope we don't get any of those at Royal Randwick this weekend, where we've got 3 Group 1s to preview and a cracking card of racing up there going head-to-head with the AFL Granny. Not sure what you guys will be doing on Saturday. I'll be flicking between, but Rail True, entire circuit, good for. Tommy, expectations track-wise in Sydney?
Rail True with the wind around, I think running line will be okay. I wouldn't mind. Don't have wide barriers as a huge negative on the day. So if you can find cover, headwind at the straights, I think you can get a suck run in the running line and it'll be okay. I think leading's kind of hard with the Canberra Rail True at Randwick. So fair, maybe offence advantageous.
Excellent.
You, Clancy?
Yeah, I'm just in the similar mould. Those massive fields that are in the Epsom and the Metrop, you just need cover. Like you just can't afford to be 3-4 wide without cover.
Yeah.
Yep. Before we get to those big fields, we'll start off we're going to look at race 2 and race 3 quickly, which is the first time we get to see the 2-year-olds step out here in Sydney on the weekend. We've got race 2, which is the Gimcrack Stakes for the 2-year-old fillies, and we've got race 3, which is the Group 3 Breeders' Plate for the 2-year-old colts and geldings. Tommy, we'll talk about the Gimcrack quickly, the girls' race. First look at these ones for the season, as I said. What do you look for? You're a trials expert. What do you look for at from the trials with these early 2-year-olds? Is it raw ability or is it professionalism you're looking for? Obviously, ideally both, but
Yeah.
where do you sort of draw the line with these ones?
A combination of both. I think the map's still quite important for these early races when you're doing the form because there's so many question marks. No one will actually put the effort in to do maps off trials and whatnot. Professionalism, a lot of these horses, Waterhouse and Bott had 7 winners and 6 place getters in the 12 2-year-old trials, if you don't mind. They dominated the set and they all went forward. They all look professional, they're all tough. What does that mean for the Gimcrack where they got 4 and the Breeders they got 3 in? Do they all go forward? What do they do? They're all from the same stable, so they're not going to sit there and cut at each other the whole race. So the map's going to be fascinating for these 2 races. I really look for horses through the line. 2-year-olds that take gaps really gets an extra tick. So if they finish off and have a turn of foot and actually take a gap between runners, I'll give that a big tick. It's easier to jump out and lead through these trials, especially if they're fields of 4 or 5, and then you get stuck into a field of 12 and you end up 3-back defence. It's much harder for these 2-year-olds. Horses with turn of foot too. You don't see a lot of 2-year-olds at these trials that show turn of foot and finish over the top of their rivals. So they're the things I look for, and it's an exciting time of year.
Any of the girls jumped out at you across those trials? Are you going
There's
to
always girls that jump out at me.
It's not reciprocal, unfortunately. Any that you might have a bet on in Sydney on Saturday?
Oh,
Tom?
sorry, you're talking about the race.
Yeah.
So Waterhouse and Bott with 4. As I said, the speed map's going to be fascinating. We've got Lady Camelot, who's favourite. James McDonald, who wasn't riding at the trial set, just says, see you later, I'm on this horse. Settled outside lead in her trial, showed typical speed, won that really well, good trial, professional type, nice style of horse. They got Celestial Bling, Alan Aline, and Lady Tessort, who was good as well. They all trialled quite nicely. Again, I don't know what they do with them all being front runners. With that, I think Invincible Madison was one of the picks of the trials on that morning, and she settled behind the lead there, which is a huge tick for me. She settles probably behind the lead in this race as well. She finished off really nicely. She's a $1.2 million filly, really well bred. Love the way she lengthened. She's a better price than Lady Camelot and Lady Tessort, and I'm happy to be with her. The other one that is of huge interest is Erno's Cube. Now, I know that the owners love the jockey, Johnny Allen. I think Explosive Jack. John Allen rode this horse really well. They flew him up to Sydney to ride this 2-year-old filly for one ride at the trial set at Kensington, and he's back here on board. I have a feeling this goes quite nicely. He was given a very soft time of it in that trial. I'm scared of this horse. So I've had something at $11 Erno's Cube, and Invincible Madison on top for me. I just think she can finish over the top of the Waterhouse Bott pair or trio or whoever's up front there.
Good insight.
16 into 10 Erno's Cube early, so
I
obviously
missed the
there's a bit of
16s.
support.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Waterhouse Bott MO is instilled very early, isn't it? Take fit horses that lead to the races, and
It's incredible performance.
Yeah, it's quite bomb-proof too, isn't it? Like from a punting perspective, you get every chance, don't you? Hey, just quickly, we'll touch on the Breeders' Plate as well for the boys, and any catch your eye from the trials ahead of their debuts.
So, importantly, the boys I thought were better than the fillies in that 2-year-old Kensington set. I thought that they were much better. They were led by Scampy, incredibly impressive trial. 750,000 Magic Millions purchase, great speed, professional. I love the balance, won by a margin. He is an expensive yearling by Blue Point. I think he's the second most expensive Blue Point. Half to Semillon, who was a nice horse as well. Very short here, but does look the horse to beat. The other one, everyone was raving about how good Scampy was that morning, and then a horse called Volatile came out in the last trial and came from last, and he's a $550,000 Magic Millions purchase. He showed a turn of forward. If they put pressure on up front, Scampy map's okay, probably behind the lead, but Volatile will be charging late. McDonald says, thank you very much, I'm jumping on this horse, and I think one of those two will win. A little edge in the market at the moment.
Just quickly, sorry, let's jump in, just before we round out these 2-year-olds, just how much does the yard and the market late come into play with these 2-year-olds first day at the races?
Yard's fascinating, so I've got a guy up there that will send me the yard late. Yeah, it's really interesting. The market, I don't pay a huge amount of attention to. If something's significantly firming, I will then pay attention. But I think a lot of wealthy owners and first time and exciting and a few whispers. You often see, like we look at 2-year-old racing, I don't take SP profiles into a huge amount of consideration at 2. If they're getting to 3 and 4 and they're still short prices, then I take it more into market. But interestingly, the stable produced Coolangatta this time last year. I know it's filly, but Scampy, very similar price, and obviously Coolangatta was a star, so it's a star.
I'm just fascinated to see, obviously, like well-exposed horses, well-exposed fields, it's reasonably easy to price up a race because you've got the ratings behind all of them. With a first starting group like this, how do you go about a price that you're willing to take? Is it the matter of finding the best horse and taking any price, or is there will you try and actually put a price on each runner?
Yeah, it's hard. It's more on feel for me in these races. I'm surprised they don't miss the horses that stand out at the trials. So you can often find a little edge, but often the horses that trial the best do win these races. So they might be short. As I said, Coolangatta a couple of years ago came out and was $1.60 and she gave him Winburn. Scampy's had a bit of a whisper about for a while, even before that trial, and he looks pretty smart.
But even Coolangatta, I reckon that day was like $4 into $3.50 or something, and you're taking that price rather than red money here.
No, Coolangatta was very short. She was $1.60 in the gym crack.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's why he's a 2-year-old.
Yeah,
She was incredibly well backed, and I think she opened 210 and
love to talk juveniles all day, Tom. He's really
pumped.
He gets wound up at this time of year. But it's Group 1 time, race 6, Group 1 flight stakes for the 3-year-old fillies, set weights over a mile, and Zoo Gotcha beat Home She's Extreme and North Star Lass last year. How are we seeing this one, Clance, map wise as well?
Yeah, interesting one. Tropical Squall goes to the front once again. Out to the mile probably doesn't suit that horse as much as the 1200 and the 1400 and the lead-ups. Tis Invincible continues to take that step. I think we're all pretty keen to take her on in the early days, but she just continues to run through the line and get better. Slight query on whether she's continued to just have the best run in the race. Contrary to popular opinion, I reckon she didn't have the best run last start. She got balked a couple of times, but is strong enough to take those gaps, and you just love to see that in a horse. Couldn't take the current price on offer for the fave out of the wider barrier. Probably won't get as good a run this time. The one that I'm keen to back early Thursday is Molly Knickers for Moonee. She's just got an incredible stride length, this horse. Fell out the gates last start, which is obviously a bit of a query, but Jamie Carr goes on, always like quite content at getting these horses out well. Hard to beat, I think, $9 into $7.50 currently. I still think that's a great price. Happy to take that. And we'll be having a BSP bet on Tis Invincible late.
Molly Knickers was 30 odd, I think, on Sunday. Unfortunately, I didn't take any. I'm still filthy Tis Invincible didn't win the Percy Sykes. I think she's a star, and I always thought she was a star since her first trial. And then she was out in the car park in the Black Opal, and then second in the Percy Sykes when I was on at 60s, I think, or something like that. So still filthy, but I've made some money back. I'm against her at the price on Saturday. She's kept stepping up. She's the class filly. She keeps winning. I thought she had a really good run in Transit last start and the start prior. Now she's got to go barrier 2 to barrier 13. Different story. Komochi draws well. I'm disappointed that J-Max found unique ambition here because it means I'm not getting $20, I'm getting 11s. No luck last start whatsoever. This is a stable that loves, at a 3-year-old filly win on Sunday at Flemington, does such a good job with the 3-year-old fillies, John Sargent. J-Mac on, had no luck, blinkers on, third up mile for a stable that gets fillies staying. Big watch on unique ambition. Turtle of Vita, another one. Walla wide barrier to inside barrier, so goes out to in. K-Mac to Joe, or Xiao, or the Magic Man. Fastest 800, 600 and 400 in the T-row. So got the flashing light on Turtle of Vita, and Molly Knickers the other one. So I'm going against the Tis Invincible Komochi T-rows form, the two fancies there, and looking outside the box a little bit.
You laying Tis Invincible?
I could at the price, but she's scary and she's a winner, so I don't really want to be too hard against her.
Yep. No, I'm 2 bets here. I'm with you, Clance. Tis Invincible. I reckon she's been hands down that best filly in Sydney thus far, particularly unbeaten this prep. Bomb-proof, yes, drawn 13, puts herself into races. Good horses take their opportunities, and she's been strong late. And then Molly Nickers, we didn't talk about the setup as much, I reckon, with her. So won impressively first up at 1,400, 5 weeks between runs, tackled the Atlantic Jewel over 1,200, got well back early stages, savaged the line behind Charmstone.
That was a great run.
Yeah, great run. I'm excited to see her back out on a bigger track. I had it marked as 1,000 guineas type in November out of that run. So Lob's here over the mile. They're confident. She obviously gets that coming from 1,200. So keen for a 2-bet play there. And profit if either get up. So let's head to race 7, which is the Group 2 Premier Stakes. Weight for age, 1,200 metres. Lost and Running beat home Marzu and Masked Crusader last year. What do you boys make of this race? Is this the Last Chance Saloon? Is this for the Everest aspirants?
It's really interesting because think about it, Scotty Slot, he's here first up, 1,200, won 9 out of 10. That's the first starting point in the race. You work out whether you want to be with him at even money or don't want to be with him. Who on earth leads? Cote, who's a wet track, slow leader. He's got, if he's leading, they're going slowly. Way 5-0 might kick up, firm track. There's not a lot of speed over 1,200. Clancy, before I go any further, you with Think About It or you...
Against Think About It, especially at the price. Couldn't possibly entertain that. You've already touched on it earlier, but already got the grand final in mind, got the ticket. How this horse is, like, obviously it's a winner, right? Like, of course, but $4 in an Everest when peak ratings are over the 1,400, 1,500, etc. Pretty incredible. But I think Remark win. I think Remark jumps to the front here because, as you said, real lack of pace. Last start had Overpass to contend with it at the front, which obviously real speedster. Don't have that here. Like,
real speedster, but they went incredibly slowly in that lead up. And I thought, I don't mind the Remark thinking, I thought him and probably Hawaii 5-0 were out sprinted there because they went so slowly. I think 14 lengths slower than class benchmark to the 600, if you don't mind. So they've absolutely walked. The 7 horses broke 11 seconds home, and they all ran the fastest final 200 metres of the day, those 7. So,
and you go back with Remark, the way that Tyler Schiller rode him in the Concorde to win from the wide barrier.
Yep. And obviously everyone's going to say 1,200 metres is the query, and I agree. I think it is, but I don't think, as we touched on, I don't think it's going to be a really incredibly hard run, 1,200. Gets to the front, finds the fence. Could be tough to run down it. I think it's still getting 25 to 1 about this horse, and I think that's just too big. That'll come in. I've got him marked 9.80, so just under $10. So happy to go there. The lay in the race for me is this alcohol free. Obviously very talented. Best ratings all out over the mile. First up over the 1,200. I'm quite happy to take on the place there. $3 a place. Keen to lay there, even with Joe, Magic Man on board. One I'm keen to have a small play on, Bella Nipotina, at the, I think, 550 at the moment. Yep. I think she'll be hard to beat and sets up really nicely, but we'll lay Think About It, we'll lay Alcohol Free the place, and small bets Remark and Bella Nipotina.
Lots of angles there, Clance. I like it. I was going to say, if you like Remark, you've got to like Bella Nipotina. It was fantastic in behind Remark. First up, 4 weeks, almost a month between runs now. Up to 1,200 metres, ran the fastest 200 of the day first up. Better at 12 than Remark, so I'm glad you mentioned Bella. Zapateo, I'm surprised she hasn't been spoken about in Everest plans. I know they've got 2 in the race, but they had a slot and they put in Secret in the 3-year-old cylinder. Sunshine in Paris, obviously a dominant win, but a few people, good judges, were thinking she was a chance in an Everest. This horse was good in behind. Espiona ran the Quinella there, Zapateo 3rd. Espiona came out and won like Farlap last weekend. The form stacks up. McDonald goes on, barrier 3, gets every chance. If I'm playing, I will probably have Bella Nipotina and Zapateo right in the thick of things.
There's more angles in this
lots
race
of
than
angles.
A dodecahedron, isn't there? You blokes are just singing them out everywhere.
And for that reason, it's hard to get the favourite down to $2.
And now I'm going to bring in a new angle.
Ooh.
And that is number 1, Lost and Running. So
He's one I can't have.
I'm putting a complete line through his first up performance. Caught 3 and 4 wide, no cover throughout.
Does he want to be a horse? Is he with us?
Well, you're getting $19 here to find out. So
I was keen first up.
Well, 11 into 8 first up off a nice trial. I think he's just going better than the market suggests. And the key here is draws one, gets Jamie Carr on board. I think can take enormous improvement, is going to get to actually relax in transit here. It was just a complete pen job last time, and you're getting $19 about a horse who's, if they're ever going to put their hand up to get an Everest slot, that's it.
If they went a bit quicker in that race, I would have been more forgiving. But the fact he was wide off a really slow tempo, I just wanted to see him be a bit stronger late.
Yeah, I thought he had every right to not retire.
He probably should have retired.
I might be saying that after race 7 on Saturday. I thought he had every right to tire, given how wide he was. Follows the same plan as last preparation, where ran third in the shorts into winning this race. Now, different setup that day in the shorts last year to what happened here. So I think can take enormous improvement second up, and big price to find out. But
heavy 8 as well last year. I reckon probably just the data would suggest it goes a little bit better with a bit of chopping ground.
Not a bad call. Race 8, boys, is the Group 1 Epsom Handicap over the mile. Top ranked in Ellsberg, dead heated this last year, and hopefully. Well, I'm not having a bet in this race, but I found this quite challenging to dissect here. So, who we got? Radina, Going Global, Nugget, Converge. They look the likely speed influences. You guys spoke about it at the top in terms of the need to get cover, the need to get a good run in transit to put yourself in the finish in this race. How are you guys playing it?
Dartboard job. Throwing darts at the board, see what sticks. What I will do in this race is I'm going to wait until they jump, see where they settle, and then I'll be playing the exchange in play. Looking for horses in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th pairs with cover. I've got, for exposure, I got the inevitable favourite around about $10. So that tells you how difficult the race is.
How's Clancy's market? That is outstanding.
Well, it's about right too.
Yeah,
Nugget's the one I wanted to find.
Yep.
But he's drawn 18. He just makes it so difficult. If Nugget or Alencia find a back, they're probably the two I'll be looking to back in the run. But, geez, they just need some luck from where they are. Waterford's another, has come through well after the gelding operation, but not keen to get involved in this one whatsoever.
With all this talk of jockey bookings, the Williams, Orman, I find it fascinating that they've put David Perez on the inevitable in this Group 1. Ryan Maloney rode last start, and the inevitable was outstanding first start, fastest last 200 of the meeting. It's not a pot job, but one ride for the day in a Group 1 when you're catching the Spirit of Tassie over. It's a really big
You're
call.
seasick, mate.
Have you seen the prices of flights, Tom? I reckon he's got a cinema seat on the Spirit. So I found that fascinating that the stable would do that when I'd imagine there'd be a host of good jockeys putting their hand up to ride a pretty big chance in a Group 1.
Good on them. I think it might backfire. I think Group 1 jockeys win Group 1 races, and Group 1 trainers win Group 1 races. So I agree, Flying is a great horse, but I'm happy to risk. Dartboard job. If I'm focusing on 2 horses, Hope in Your Heart, what a mare she is. She won a Tibby, an Angst, 4th in a Golden Eagle, 2nd in a Gong, won a Guy Walter, 4th in a Coolmore, 4th in a Doncaster, and 2nd in the Queen of the Turf. She's probably still underrated. The market's starting to learn that she rarely runs a bad race. She was fantastic last start in the Tramway. Fastest final 4 and 2 of the race, ran 11.3 home, 4th fastest final 200 metres of the day. Absolutely love her. Blinkers on first time's interesting. She trialled the other day in them, so that gives me a bit more confidence that the jockey got off and said happy with them.
What do they do from 10?
That's fine. That's fine. She'll be midfield with cover. Like that barrier. Has to be a strong winning chance. I've got her on top. Waterford, scary horse. Given a barrier trial last week. They weren't there to win. And draws barrier 20, but gets a good jockey on board. been good since gelding, been more professional, found the line really nicely, sectional between the 8 and the 6 and the 4, 10-8 last start, 10-8-4, fastest sectional of the program between that split. So worked hard to get in the race, was barrier trial. Bit better grounding than a few of these that are 14 to 600. Now it's on the back up 15. Just needs to find a back at a price I could spec him as well.
Wouldn't dismiss Kovalika either.
You could make a case for, you mentioned angles last time.
Yeah, true.
You could say 15 horses here and I probably wouldn't talk you out of it.
I just mentioned that because we spoke about Kovalika and Clance and I made him lay of the day. Yeah, last time in it, kicking off over 1,300. So second up to 1,600. We knew that he was there for that first up run, heading into something like this. So again, it's too open for me, it's too open for you, and it's too open for you. So we're going to shoulder arms. So Tom's got about 80 angles. Maybe follow Tom
Open your heart.
Okay.
Mine on topper.
Okay, he's on topper. There you go. Race number 9, the Group 1, James Squire Metropolitan. Just g'day, James, if you want to fill the boys' fridge for LayBack here over spring. So under handicap conditions over 2,400 metres. Good pace in this race. Knight's Order, Just Fine, Spirit Ridge, Military Mission. Benno will be prominent from 1 as well. It's all about Just Fine though, isn't it, fellas? All the rage here. Pretty easy to see why. He's hit the ground running in Australia, gets in well at the weights, drops 5 kilos off that win in a Kingston town, and he's getting weight off those that he beat as well. So it's hard to make a case against him. I'm staying out. He's quite short. What are you guys doing?
I don't usually like 2,400 metre races, but this is almost my best of the day. And you're getting about $25. Number 3, Cleveland. You go through this race, not many have 2,400 metre grounding. Not many have really strong 2,400 metre stats. This is a horse that ran in a Group 1 Tancred last start, was a run of the race, and subsequently went out in the Sydney Cup at a SP of $4. Started favourite there. He's one horse that will relish the 2,400 metres. He's got the SP profile. It was the shortest from the lead up. He was sent back there in what was a barrier trial. They're in the fastest 200 metres of the lead up. Gets blinkers on. If they work, he is a massive price, Cleveland, and I'm very bullish he'll run well.
Like that angle.
Yeah, got him marked $14, so well and truly in there. Carlapaw is the other one at a bit of value. Newcastle Cup last start, absolutely horrid run, great SP profile out of that. I think he's the other bit of value here. The favourite I have marked well and truly ahead of everyone else.
What price?
I've got him marked $2.50
Yep.
in currently $1.75, and then Carlapaw $12.
I reckon you'll get close to
massive price there.
$2.50 on Betfair late.
I just think he's a bit of a freak. I'm very interested to see what happens with Adam Hieronymus on Knight's Order here. Knight's Order and King Frankel both said, we're going to go hell for leather, see if you can stick with us last start. They're still finishing with the ambulance. And Just Fine goes on and wins by a couple of lengths. Pretty easy. So very impressive there. As you correctly point out, down to 50 kilos here. I don't know how they suggest that he won't get the 2,400. I think he'll eat it up. I think he'll win the race. But a perfect later back proposition. Lay at the $1.75, $1.80, and then back hopefully 6 to 4 late in the race. But anything in black figures, I'll probably take late after I've taken the early lay. And Carlapaw to place $4.50, and certainly would not be talking anyone out of following you in for Cleveland as well. I think they're the 3 I'll be taking in the race.
I could follow you both in. I'll particularly follow the Baron of Betfair, and if he's offering me $2.50, about the favourite right now. So
I think it has to start with a 2 in front of it. On Betfair. Yep.
We'll wait.
Clancy agrees. He's laying now and backing it late.
He's the equine genius. That rounds out Royal Randwick. 3 tracks for us today. That's groundbreaking. Let's head now to our Take On Me segment, where Jackson Oldham joins us, and this is what he's doing this week.
Take On Me this week. What a massive weekend it is of sport and racing, and I'm going to wait until the last possible moment for my lay this week. We're going to Sandown on Sunday, and we're going to the last race, race 8, number 16, What a Deal, for Stokes and JB Carr. This horse has plenty of ability and ran really, really well with a short SP in a benchmark 84 last start, and we're in a benchmark 84 again. But I think there's 2 horses here in Rheinberg and St. Lawrence who are going to be on speed, and they're better horses than benchmark 84 grade, especially Rheinberg. I think he's over the odds, and What a Deal will probably have to go back from that wide gate and be conceding them too big of a start. on a day where I expect on-speed horses to be pretty heavily favoured. So I think the 650 is the average odds around. I'm going to put up $408 on Betfair. That's Sandown Race 8, number 16. What a deal.
Thanks for that, Jacko. All the best on the weekend. Boys, it's time now for our unit plays for the weekend, how we're going to attack it. I've got a few units up my sleeve to play with this weekend across the 3 tracks, boys. But we'll start with you, Tommy. How are you playing this weekend?
How's your head wobble? Very tough day for me. I'm not really bullish. There's a lot of short price favourites that I've actually got marked longer than the market. So playing a bit of a straight bet. Moonee Valley Friday night, race 5, Stud Stakes, Fist of Fury, 0.75 unit win, and Limburg saving 0.25 unit win on that. Let's get to Randwick race 2, Invincible Madison 1 unit win, Erno's Cube 0.25 unit win. The Epsom, I'll probably back Hope in Your Heart, and Waterford. At the moment, I've got half a unit on Hope in Your Heart and 0.25 Waterford. My play of the day, my biggest staking of the day is race 9 at Randwick, the Metropolitan race 9, number 3 Cleveland, 0.75 unit win at the, I think you get about $28 on Betfair. 0.75 unit win, 1.25 unit place on him.
And your lay bets?
Lay bets. The Stud Stakes, as I mentioned, I'm keen on 2 and 9. I'm laying Griff from the White Barrier to lose liability of 2 units. And I'm laying Amelia's Jewel at the price, just a half a unit liability. I think she's too short. If she gets out a bit, I could back her, but she's clearly on top with this price.
Equine.
I would like to see Tommy in the mounting yard if he gets Amelia's Jewel beaten on Friday night. He'll be doing
There's
circles.
some footage of me.
There'll be some mixed emotions at the Valley, I would imagine, if
Not for me. It's all.
Tommy's death riding one of our Australia's racing
It's
great
it's like laying the Matildas.
It is. It actually is.
Which I also did.
Yeah.
Tell us all about
It's
it.
going to be the first walk-off.
We're going to go straight to the Group 1 Moir, Imperatriz, world-class ratings, 1.5 units the win there. We're going to go to the Scarborough, Skirt the Law, 1 unit. Ulanova, the New Zealand horse, half a unit. Keen to get that big price one home. Sunday at Sandown, Antino, 3 units. Make up for that car crash last start. I think that's just a win. And then we're going to go to Sydney Flight Stakes Group 1, Tis Invincible, 1 unit to save for 2 big units on Molly Nickers to come storming down the outside. The Premier, the Sprint, Remark, 0.25 units, the big price. We're going to hope to get a bit of a result there going to the front. We're going to think about it, the Shorty for 1.5 units of liability. And then we're going to go to Moonee Valley Race 2 Friday night, off-Broadway. Brave Mead is the horse, 1 unit. We're going to go there. I think it's ready to win. Armed Forces, the one danger in the race, but I think Brave Mead peak rating at Moonee Valley, keen to follow.
Love that from you, Equine. I'm following you in Moonee Valley Race 2, Brave Mead. I'm having 2 units to win. I agree. I think certainly ready to win. We'll then head to the Stud Stakes, Moonee Valley Race 5, Mojave Desert, 0.25 units the win, 0.75 units the place. In the Stock Stakes, I'm going with Deny Knowledge, number 2, 0.25 units to win, 1 unit to place. The Moir is, I think this is my biggest outlay thus far on the show, 2.5 units to win Imperatriz in the Group 1. In the Scarborough, I'm going to have a Tommy 2 bet here, Skirt the Law, 0.7 units the win, Osmar, 0.3 units the win. Sandown on Sunday in race number 4. I've got number 8 Moesha, 1 unit the win for the Coleman Moody team. I think she's a filly going places. Then in race number 6, the Sandown Stakes, I've got Antino, 2 units to win. Heading up to Sydney, Flight Stakes, number 1, Tis Invincible, 1 unit to win. Molly Nickers, 0.5 units to win. In the Premier, I'm siding with Lost and Running for a little bit of a form turnaround there, 0.25 units to win, 0.75 units to place. That's how I'm playing this weekend, fellas.
Good luck. Big day. Big weekend.
It is a big weekend. It's exciting though, isn't it? You guys going to the game
Can
on
I get
Saturday?
some footage of you on Monday? You're going to be awful. You've got a big weekend coming up.
Yeah.
I'd actually prefer to see some footage of him last Monday after the Brownlow. I heard he put on quite a show.
Last Tuesday morning, yes.
It was it was not good. It was not good, but we had fun. All the best this weekend. Listeners, viewers, all the best this weekend. Having a bet across the 3 states. Good luck to your footy team if you're still involved. And we'll be back next week on LayBack with Betfair.
chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.